If you're taking care of an aging parent, maybe you are organizing their doctor's appointments, you're managing their medication, maybe you're even doing their daily needs that they have, while at the same time you are caring for your own children in your own family, I want you to know something. What you are feeling right now, doing those things, is not weakness. And it is not just stress. It is the weight of doing the two most important jobs at the exact same time. You're caring for your aging parents who are above you, and you're caring for your children who are below you. You're doing it at the same time. You're doing it with the same two hands, and you're doing it in the same 24 hours that everybody gets. There is actually a name for what this is that you are experiencing. Researchers and caregiver specialists have called it the Sandwich Generation, because if you haven't heard the term before, it means that you are literally layered between two generations. Your aging parents above you and your young family below you. And I want to be clear about something, that being in this generation doesn't mean that you are failing, and it doesn't mean that you have made the wrong choice. What it means is that you are a very caring person. You're caring about your parents, you're caring about your own family, your own kids, and you're showing up for the people that need you. And I want to be clear about something. Being in this sandwich generation doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It doesn't mean that you haven't planned correctly. What it means is that you are deeply caring and you're showing up for whoever it is that needs you. But here is what nobody has told you. The sandwich that you are in isn't just very heavy. It's actually invisible, right? The people around you, your partner, your siblings, your friends, they see you functioning, they see you managing, but what they don't see is they don't see you struggling. And they don't for a minute really think to offer or even ask if you need any help. You might not be fine, and that's okay. I'm here to talk with you about it. I want to name what you are actually carrying right now, because I think that it's important to actually name it so it's a little less intense, a little less crushing as you go through it. You're managing the logistics of your parents' care. You're making the appointments. You're checking to make sure they're taking their medication on time. You could be calling insurance companies, and you're talking with doctors who use terminology that you have to Google at 11 o'clock at night just so you can understand what they've told you earlier in the day. You are managing emotional reality of watching somebody you love who might be deteriorating. You know, they might be changing because of memory loss. They might be changing because of a physical loss. They might be changing because they're losing independence. And maybe that's a parent who has taken care of you your whole life. And this is really hard. This is actually a grief. That's right, it's a grief. And there's not many people who allow you to call it a grief when you're seeing all of these losses around you. At the same time, you're raising your children. You're going to school events. You're showing up to sporting games. You're having hard conversations with teenagers. And you're trying to get your kids into adulthood while at the same exact time you're watching the decline of your parents. We lose our energy. We lose our sense of who we are as a worker. We lose our sense of who we are as a partner. We lose who we are as a friend, because every single role that we play is competing for the exact same energy and resources that we're using for all of the other roles that we play. You know, I really remember feeling this. I was a caregiver for my father with lung cancer and my mother with dementia that would eventually become Alzheimer's. And I was watching both of them change while I was also trying to hold down my teaching job, my life as a whole, my other responsibilities, my responsibilities to my husband. And I remember thinking, when is this ever going to get easier? When am I going to have a chance to take a breath? If you've asked yourself this question, I want you to know that you're not alone. But here's what I need you to hear before we go any further. Finding yourself in this season of caregiving feels really impossible. But it feels that way not because you're doing it wrong. It feels that way because you're doing it alone. In my work with family caregivers, I see 3 things that this traditional sandwich generation caregiver goes through that makes them feel stuck. And I want to walk through each one of them with you today in this video, because recognizing them is really part of understanding them and moving you forward. The first one is what I call the I should be able to handle this story. Right? You are a capable person. You have handled and managed many things along the way. And somewhere, though, when you think about needing support, you think that that means that you're not capable. So what do? You keep working, you keep adding to your plate, you keep saying yes to demands as they come your way, and you keep managing until all of a sudden it all becomes too heavy and you crack. You begin to crack in your health, you begin to crack in your relationships, and truly just having joy doesn't really exist anymore. The second thing is what I call the guilt spiral. You feel guilty when you spend time with your parents because you're not spending time with your kids. And you feel guilty when you spend time with your kids because you feel you should spend more time with your parents. And then when you spend time with yourself, you really feel guilty because you know that everybody needs you, right? And that guilt is not a sign that you're doing something wrong or you're less capable than other people. What it is it's a sign that you care deeply. But guilt doesn't have to be your compass. And I'm going to talk more about that coming up. The third thing is the fixer mentality. And if you've watched any of my earlier videos, you've heard me talk about the fixer mentality, because the fixer is the one who wants to solve things. They want to manage things. They want to control the outcome of things. But in this season of caregiving, you can't control and fix everything with your aging parents. And you can't get your kids to grow up any faster than what they already are. So this fixer mentality is really just going to exhaust you every single time. Take it from somebody who is the queen of the fixer mentality. And this is exactly why I created this thing I call the care map. So the care map is like a framework that I use with my coaching clients to help them navigate this caregiving situation in 4 key areas. That it really helps break it down so that you can really understand what's happening to you. So the first one is the C, which is the clarity or the understanding. Then there is the A, which is the action. The R, which are the resources, the things that help you. And then the E is that energy, that motivation you have to keep on going. And what I find with my traditional sandwich caregivers, pretty much like every single time, is that it is the resources that they are lacking or just not taking advantage of. This is that support system, right? These are the people, the structures, the tools, the things that are holding you up while you're caring for everybody else. Basically, what you're doing is you're giving out of a reservoir that isn't getting filled back up in order to be able to help you. So today, I want to give you 3 things that you can actually do right now that can help you at this point, coming right out of this care map idea. And you don't even have to abandon your own responsibilities to get some help in this way. So the first strategy is to actually name the season that you're in. So I know that this could sound like a little hokey, but it's actually pretty powerful. When you actually name the season and you actually say, I am a traditional Sandwich Generation caregiver, when you name it like that, you recognize that this isn't like a permanent sentence that you are in, but it's a temporary stage that you are working through. And when you see it as something temporary, you know that it's demanding, right? It's a demanding chapter of your life, but seasons change and this season will change and develop too. But when you name it, you can start making decisions for the season that you are in. And so you're able to say, yeah, this is a really hard stage, or this is a really hard season that I'm in, but I can make decisions accordingly, right? So I can be living and making these decisions not like before I was a caregiver, but I'm recognizing this is a difficult time. So the decisions I make for myself right now need to take that into consideration. And it's really important, right? Giving yourself permission to say, this is hard, and I need to figure out how to do this at this difficult time. So the second strategy is what I call triaging your energy, right? Not your to-do list, but your actual energy. So most caregivers that I work with, when they try to manage that overwhelm of all of those things that you have to do, they make a list, right? And they try to organize that list. I remember at one point, I was so overwhelmed between my work, all my responsibilities at work, and dealing with my parents that I had lists for the lists. Like I had lists that told me to check the other lists. I mean, it was like that insane for me. But more lists, right, aren't necessarily what you need. What you need is a better system that allows for some more planning that will actually help you in the end. So let me explain. Instead of thinking like, what's on my list to do today, right? That's that list. What you really need to be thinking about is how best can I spend my energy today? Especially if I'm spending limited energy, right? We're feeling down, we don't have it, we're exhausted. How best can I use what energy I have up today? And some days that might just be a long conversation with your parent. Some days that might be going to a sport to watch your kids play. And sometimes that best spent energy might actually be just taking a walk for yourself for 20 minutes and getting out and clearing your head. You might be very surprised to learn that by prioritizing according to your energy level can actually give you more energy to do things that need to get done. So the triaging part is not about doing less, right? It's doing what matters most at the time. So here's the third strategy. Ask for help differently. We as caregivers are really bad at asking for help. For many caregivers, the way we ask pretty much guarantees that we're not going to get any help, right? So, think about it. Think about the things that we say. We say things like, oh, well, when you get a chance, let me know when you can help, right? Or we just hint at the things that we need. Or worst of all, we don't really say anything at all. We're just kind of waiting for people to show up, right? We're acting like the martyr. And I know that that sounds kind of bad and really kind of negative, but let's be honest, we really do, right? We wait and then we feel bad and then we're like, well, we feel resentful. Like, why aren't we helping us? So what I want you to do is I want you to do something different. I want you to get really specific and really concrete about what you need. I need someone to sit with mom on Tuesday for 2 hours until I get home from work. That's really specific. Or I need somebody to take the kids to practice on Thursday, right? That's specific. Specific asks like that get real help. And people really do want to help. They just don't always understand how to help. Because remember, you look like you're doing it all right because you're managing on the outside. All right, my friends, before I wrap up, if this video is resonating with you, if it's really landing with you, please make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when my weekly videos come out, because I'm making videos for family caregivers who are just like you in your situation. And if you come here today because you've watched one of my shorts, please know that there's a whole lot more available here on my channel. So make sure you subscribe. I want to leave you with this. You did not find yourself in the season of caregiving that you were in because you were unprepared or because you were careless. You are in this situation you are in because you are a loving person, right? And you stood up when nobody else did. And somewhere along the way, your family sees you as the person that they can count on. This isn't a character flaw. It is who you are. So what I need you to understand, though, is you cannot pour from an empty cup. The best thing that you can do for your parents, for your partner, for your children, for your own future is to stop treating yourself and your needs that is something that is optional. It is so important that you take care of yourself so that you can continue to take care of them. And if that's something that you feel that you need some help in, that is why I have created my Care Map coaching program, right? I walk you right through this. This is what I do with fellow caregivers. We rebuild that resource layer so that you can pull from it, so that you're not using all of your own energy to help others. You're still helping them. You're just not pulling all of your energy to do it. So if that sounds like something that you could be interested in learning more about, please check out that link below, because nobody should have to walk this journey alone. If today's video helped you, please make sure you share it with somebody else who might be in need too, whether it be a friend, whether it be a sibling who is struggling, whether it be somebody that maybe you've learned about or you're with in a face-to-face support group. And leave me a comment below. Tell me what it is that you're struggling with, that you find most difficult in this Sandwich Generation Caregiver journey that you are on. I love reading the comments and I love to respond to them. My name is Amy. I'm a coach for family caregivers and I am here for you.